Hello, welcome to another video in this Rails API plus React Fullstack series. And in last video, we made the API calls to log in and register. But in this video, we will cover different edge cases around it, and we will have to save the information that user is logged in or registered or not. Okay, so for that, let's go to actually before going that, let's fix this particular error and let's see. Login, and we are getting this error, but even after error, the login was successful. Okay. Okay, the login step was successful because it failed. And why did it fail? It's because of the use state, the nature of use state. Use state functions are basically, they works asynchronously. So we are setting the error here, but as soon as we set the error, we are not getting that set error here. It's an old state basically. So to get the latest state, I think we can directly use this. So that's one thing. Oh, sorry. Test1@gmail.com, 12345 Let's try this. Now we are not having any API call. So this was because of the nature of the use state. It works asynchronously. That's why in previous video we made changes in these also. And now, why is it failing for 6? Okay, we have to use equals to. I think that's it. So I'm actually, let me check. I'm not fully sure because there are way too many moving pieces. Okay, great. Things are working. So now we want to store this information locally. So we are getting the user completely right, but we don't want to store the user. We want to store its JWT token that we get. For example, if I go to here, uh, so if I make this API call for, let's say, test1@gmail.com, not in this. In register also, you will get the same response, but I want to do this in sign in. Let's do this, and you will see we are logged in. And as soon as we get logged in, if we go to headers, I think we should get, yeah, there is an authorization token. This token is something that we will have to say. I've already explained you why we need this, but you'll see this much more better when we actually make future API calls. Okay. So I want this token to be saved somewhere. So first we'll have to access that token. And for that, let me see. Okay. We are passing the result in both the cases, but I think we'll have to pass response. Or either I can pass JWT token and data and an empty error, but I think I'll keep it simple and pass response directly. In this case also response. Okay. So if we are passing the response, we'll have to get response here. Handle response. This is response. Where is this? This is also response, but if we are getting any error, we are tackling those errors first, and if there are no errors, then only we are going to response. Great. But I think we'll have to do this also. Let's make this change here also. We are using await, so let's use async async result. Great. So along with that, let's not navigate for now. Console.log header. I think I can use response.header.get, and inside that we can mention the key. So all these are various keys. I think I just need authorization. Hopefully this should give us the result. Let's try this. Test1, 12345 login. Okay. Cannot read properties of get. Okay, we cannot read this. We cannot read this. Okay. response header authorization in JavaScript fetch API call. Let's see. Bearer token and this. Let's try this. Response data. Nope. Extract authorization header response. Let's try this one. I think this one will provide the solution. We made the API call, we got the response. Once we get the response, we can directly use this. Just one at the gmail.com/6 login. We got this. Great. So this will be our JWT token actually, and we don't need to use this. The mistake that we are making was with headers. Await async, and let's log this user also to see if everything is working or not. Sorry, message, and message. Let's see. Test1@gmail.com 12345 login, and we are getting everything. Great. So we'll save this information later on. Now there's one more thing that I want to do, which is cover various edge cases. So what will be the edge case? The password did not match. So in that case, let's log in. We are getting this error, server-side error, invalid error. Okay. So we'll go to our authentication, server-side error, invalid email or password. So in this case, we are getting 401 status code, right? So what I will do is, if response.status equals to 401, if it is 401, I'll return a custom error, which is invalid email or password. I don't want to explicitly mention whether email is incorrect or password because that can lead to a bit insecure code. It's better to keep it non-clear, not very clear, basically. We are just mentioning that either email or password is incorrect. The combination is incorrect. And even after that, if there is any error, then we'll catch them as server-side errors. That's it. So let's try this. Test 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, not this. And we got this invalid email and password. Let's go to register. Try this. And we got this error. Here also we'll have to, this is 422, right? So I'll do copy this. Actually, yeah, we can write it like this. We could have written else if also, but that's also fine because we are using return here. So it's, all the cases are correct here. 422 user already exists. So yes, and register we will have to give this. So let's try this. Test1@gmail.com 12345 register, and we got this error. User already exists. Great. Let me check if we are making any console statement here. Nope. Great. I'll remove console statements from here also. Let's remove this. Let's remove this. Great. So now we know that we can navigate through this, but we want to save. Wait. I made mistake here. Const JWT is equals to this. Now what I want to do is I want to store this. In cookies, I will have to store this. I don't want to store user data, which is basically it has name, sorry, not email, created date, ID, and all those kind of things. But we won't use that. We will need JWT token only in future API calls to authenticate the user. So let's save this in cookies. And for that, I'll use React cookies. Okay, you can try out something else also. All of them are pretty standard. Okay, let's install this. I'll just stop this. Stop the server. Oh, sorry, not the server, the client. Clear. We will have to use. I'm going through this a bit quickly because I've already used this a lot of times. At least recently I've used it, so I'll directly use this. We have to go to our main.jsx file, and in that we'll mention this, and router will be inside this. Okay, we'll have to import this. So let's import this. Great. And let's reorder this using Command Shift P shortcut. It will give us lines ascending, and I'll just sort them. Great. So we have set this up. Now we can use it. So for that, I'll use this. Where do we have to use this? We have to use this in authentication. So let's first import this. Yes. And then we'll create a state for this. Use cookies. And we can set it now. So for that, I'll use JWT. And if I want to access this, let's console.log cookies.jwt. Whatever is the key name, I think I have to use it like this only. Okay, let's directly check this. npm run dev login test1@gmail.com 123456 login, and we can see cookies. We are saving this authorization token correctly. So let me check the time. Only 12 minutes. So what we'll do is we'll implement this logout button also. And for that we'll need this JWT token. Okay. I don't want this message. I don't want. Let's comment that actually. And I don't want this console log. What else? Let's comment this also. We don't need this right now. Anything else? We have this cookies. Okay. There are two things that I want to do. But let's do one thing only. If someone is visiting this authentication page, and if cookies.jwt is available, then in that case, we will navigate that user back to home page, because what we want is if user is already signed in or logged in, we don't want them to access this page. Okay, it depends if you want to do this or not. Navigate. Okay, we have to use effect to use navigate. Great. So use effect. Let's use this. Refresh what is not working. Used unexpected, comma. Let's try login. And we can see we were rerouted to home page. Let's try register. And we can see we were rerouted here. Okay. Now, I just want to show you one thing if you are new to web development. So you can go to application tab, and inside that, there will be a lot of options actually. So on left side, you'll see something called as cookies, and you can access that cookie here. You can see the value and everything. Okay. Great. So what I'll do is I'll get rid of this. Right click, delete. Now, as soon as I delete this, now I can again use the login page. Great. So I hope this is clear. Uh, should I implement the logout functionality? Let me do this. Let's go to authentication. Let me check the logout API. Sign out, sign out, sign out. This one is sign out, delete users, sign out. Great. And in that, we will have to send this authorization token in header. So what I can do is I can go to authentication, create a new API, name that API as logout API, and I'll just pass JWT token. We don't need body in this. We need delete API call. You can see this here. Delete. We need sign out. So sign out. And in headers, we need to pass authorization. And the value for that will be JWT token. If the authorization is successful, we'll get the response and everything. So we'll have to implement this. Where is logout? Basically, what happens is that once we send the authorization token, actually, let's not do it in this video. Let's stop it for now, uh, because I think I'll have to split the JWT token correctly. Not sure actually. I don't think we'll have to split this. We'll see this later on. Okay, I'm a bit confused, but let's try this. Go to source components navbar. We have this logout button, so let's implement on click handle logout. Let's implement this const handle logout. Let's make it an async. Okay, and similar to what we did here, let's try to use the actually JWT. I'll have to use JWT. This was incorrect. I'll have to use JWT. Why did it work? It should not have worked. What is this name? I think it should be empty. Not sure. We'll see this right now. Once we make the API calls and everything, we'll see. Navigate, I don't want to use that. I don't think we'll need that. Uh, yeah, let's not use that right now. And this should be outside. It should be part of the component, not the function. So let's use it here. And instead of these APIs, I want to use logout. So let's make this API call, but for that, I'll go to authentication. I'll find login API. I'll copy this and directly paste it here. The only difference is I have to use logout API, and in that I have to pass the cookies.jwt. I just have to pass the JWT here. Okay, but it is not an object, it is just a value. Great. Now we will have to write the function to handle this response. Something is incorrect. Now let's handle this response. For that, let's go to handle response, copy, paste. Okay, and if there are any errors, we'll set them later on. No worries. Actually, if there are any errors, I'll just remove the cookie. Let me check this. Remove cookie. Yes, remove cookie. So I'll just remove the cookie that we have set. The name of the cookie is JWT. Okay, and if everything is successful, then also I will have to do that only. Uh, yeah. Then also we'll have to do that only. So let's do that. Let's try this out. There are a lot of experiment going in this, but we'll see if it works or not. Let's go to login. Test1@gmail.com. 123456. Sorry. 123456. Login. Great. To verify this, whether it was successful or not, let's go to login. And we can see we are unable to go there. You can go to inspect, application, cookies, and we have this JWT token. Great. So now if I click on, let's inspect console. If I click on logout, will it work? Let's go to application and we can see the cookie is not there anymore. Great. So we were able to log out successfully. So only change that I want to do here is, let's not use this. Is logged in. If it is logged in, I want to render this logout button. Otherwise, I want to render login. And for that, I'll write handle login and I'll import use navigate const navigate is equals to use navigate this. Okay. So what I want to do is, let's implement this handle login also. Similar to handle logout, let's create a handle login is equals to async, not async actually, event. We don't need that, but anyways, I'll just navigate to slash login because we want to log in, right? And how can we decide whether it is logged in or not? We will have to set this value, right? So for that, I'll use const. I'm just thinking. Once we click on logout, it will get logged out. So const cookies.jwt. Can I use this directly? Maybe I can. Test1@gmail.com 123456 login. Now let's try logout. Nope, it is not working, but this is working. So maybe this is not working. So what I can try to do is I can use a use state const is logged in, or maybe let's use JWT, set JWT, use state, let's keep it cookies dot JWT. So even if it is null, it will be null, no issues. Okay, and once we update, remove the cookies, at that point, I can update that also. And for that, I'll write set JWT. I'll have to find a better way of doing this. Maybe I'll have to use some Redux or recoil to better manage this state, because this state is something that we will have to use across the application, but maybe we can access it using cookies only. So we'll see, no worries. So if JWT token is available, that means we have to show logout, otherwise we will show login. So let's see this. Login, this 123456, logout, sorry, login. Now let's click logout and we can see this changed. So this is the power of React. This button changed without refreshing, without rendering the entire component. Only the navbar component got re-rendered. And that's it. We have made huge progress. And at this point, if you have seen all the videos and you are comfortable with it, I think you will be able to do a bit better challenges in this, like make your own APIs and work around that. I will still continue this web series. That doesn't mean I am stopping this, but at this point, I am confident that you would have learned a lot of things. So that's it for this particular video. We'll see in next video. We'll maybe work with the challenges and see what we can do around that. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.